Tonight at 12:47 a.m. Eastern Time, the moon crosses into Gemini. Most people will be asleep when it happens. Most people will wake up tomorrow, not understanding why their mind is already moving faster than their body. Why a conversation they have been avoiding is suddenly impossible to keep inside. You will understand you are here because something in you already knew a signal was coming. And tonight it arrives. There is a message. You know the one. It has been sitting at the edge of your awareness for days, possibly weeks. The throat knows it. The hands know it. The restlessness in your chest at 2 a.m. knows it. That is not anxiety without cause. That is information waiting for its window. Tonight, the window opens. Before this window closes, you will understand three things. First, what this moon ingress into Gemini actually is, and why this particular crossing carries unusual charge. Second, which four signs are standing closest to the signal, and what this transit demands from each of them now. Third, the exact practice that turns the noise of this window into a message you can finally use, a conversation you can finally have, a truth you can finally release or send. Most people will make 9 specific mistakes during this transit that will cost them clarity and peace of mind for weeks. I will give you all 9, and the one that quietly destroys the most people is number 6. Stay with me. The moon moves faster than any other body in the sky. It changes signs every 2.5 days. It does not wait for you to be ready. Tonight is not an ordinary lunar ingress. The moon enters Gemini at 0 degrees, the absolute threshold, and it does so within 48 hours of Pluto stationing retrograde and Mercury settling with deliberate weight into Taurus. Pluto has just turned its gaze inward, excavating buried truths and hidden systems. Mercury in Taurus means words now carry mass, where nothing said can be easily unsaid. And into that atmosphere, the moon enters Gemini, the sign of the messenger, the voice that speaks what the nervous system has been processing, in silence. 3 planetary bodies, 3 completely different energies, 1 convergence point. Tonight, if you watched the Pluto retrograde video released just 2 days ago, you already felt the first wave of this. That energy has not left. It has been building toward exactly this moment. That video is linked below, because what Pluto began excavating underground, the moon in Gemini now brings to the surface of speech. The physical signals are already present in your body. Racing thoughts before sleep that refuse to slow. Pressure behind the eyes as though information is backing up. Tightness in the throat where unspoken words accumulate like sediment in a pipe. Tingling in the hands and fingers, the body preparing to write, to reach, to transmit. Shallow breathing during moments of anticipation. Mental restlessness that feels electric and purposeful, like a current looking for a conductor. None of this is malfunction. All of it is preparation. Your body is reorganizing right now. The question is what you will do with the signal once it arrives fully. Now the 4 signs standing closest to the signal. If you hear your sign named, listen carefully. What follows is not general. It is specific to the pressure your chart is under tonight. If you are a Gemini, this transit is not ambient weather, it is personal weather. The moon enters your sign and moves the part of you that usually processes internally to the surface. The emotional signal to watch for is an unusual need to be heard on your own terms. You may notice frustration rising when people misquote your meaning, when you are understood partially but not completely. That frustration is not impatience. It is a demand for precision. Stop softening the message for the comfort of the receiver. Lead with the truth, rather than the preparation for the truth. Stop adding qualifiers before every sentence. Stop presenting 3 sides of your position before committing to one. Tonight, write the complete version of something you have only said halfway. Not the abbreviated version, the complete one. If you are a Sagittarius, the moon opposes your sign, pulling tension between your internal belief system and incoming information. You may receive news in the next 48 hours that requires you to revise something you have been certain about. The emotional signal is defensiveness, rising not from genuine disagreement, but from the discomfort of updating a position you have invested in. The jaw tightens, the shoulders rise, the impulse to counter arrives before the full information has been processed. Stop weaponizing your belief system as a shield against evidence that inconveniences it. Tonight, identify one position you have held for over a year without seriously questioning it, and ask whether the original evidence still holds. If you are a Virgo, the moon activates the career and public reputation sector of your chart. The pressure here is professional truth that has been managed and delayed in the interest of stability. Watch for sudden inability to maintain the performance of enthusiasm for something that has genuinely stopped resonating. The fatigue from managing the gap between what you actually think and what you present publicly settles in the eyes. The upper back, the silence after a work call ends. Stop treating that suppression as professionalism. It is delay with a cost. Tonight, write a completely honest professional self-assessment that no one else will read. State plainly what is working, what has stopped, and what you would change if fear of disruption were removed. If you are a Pisces, the moon squares your sign and activates the gap between what you feel internally and what you can articulate to others. A feeling too large for a sentence. An emotion that arrives fully formed inside you but dissolves into approximation the moment you try to share it. The grief of being imprecisely understood often presents as withdrawal, a quiet conclusion that articulation is not worth the cost of being misread again. Stop abandoning the effort because past attempts were imperfect. Imperfect articulation that reaches 70% of the truth is infinitely more valuable than silence that reaches none of it. Tonight, speak or write one thing you have previously decided is too difficult to explain and resist editing it into safety before it reaches the person who needs to hear it. If your sign was not named, you are not exempt. Every chart has Gemini somewhere in it, and wherever Gemini lives in your chart is where this moon is applying pressure tonight. The message is finding you regardless. If you want to go deeper on how this transit affects your personal chart, subscribe now and drop your zodiac sign in the comments. I read every single one, and the next video covers what the moon in Gemini means for your sign specifically across this entire week. Now, the 9 mistakes. Number 6 is the one that costs the most. 1. Sending the message in the first wave of emotion. Allow 20 minutes for the charge to settle before transmitting. The urgency is real, the pause clarifies it. 2. Forwarding information before verifying it. What you heard is not always what was said. Verify before you amplify. 3. Confusing overthinking with preparation. At some point the rehearsing must stop and the speaking must begin. 4. Making permanent decisions on information received in the first 24 hours. The moon moves. What feels certain tonight may look different in 60 hours. 5. Choosing gossip over direct communication. Speaking about someone to a third party relieves pressure temporarily and creates damage permanently. 6. This is the one. Suppressing the message because the timing still does not feel perfect. There is no perfect timing for a message that has been waiting months. The window tonight is not the perfect window. It is the open window. The cost of continued suppression is not safety. It is the slow erosion of your own trust in your own voice. Speak the thing, write the thing, send the thing, or consciously choose to release it, but do not keep carrying it as though carrying it is neutral. It is not. 7. Dismissing vivid dreams as random noise. The moon in Gemini often delivers its clearest signal through image and symbol. Write down what surfaces tonight before it dissolves. 8. Multitasking during an important conversation. The conversation that matters deserves the full field of your attention. Close the other tabs. 9. Confusing the end of the window with the end of the opportunity. The moon leaves Gemini in 60 hours. What you begin in honesty now continues forward. The window is the catalyst. You are the sustained effort that follows it. Now the ritual. Simple. One clear, honest act of transmission. Write the unsent message by hand. Not the edited version. The complete one. Then, read it aloud to yourself in an empty room. The throat either tightens with recognition that this is true, or relaxes with relief at finally hearing it said. Notice which happens. Then make a conscious decision. Send it, tear it, burn it, or seal it somewhere intentional. Continuing to carry it without deciding is the only option that costs you. Then journal 3 truths that need to be spoken before the moon leaves Gemini. Finally, before midnight tonight, speak 1 honest sentence to 1 person, not a paragraph. 1 sentence you have been finding reasons to delay. Speak it. The ritual is complete. The message that has been waiting is not waiting because it is unimportant. It is waiting because the voice carrying it has been told in 100 small ways that its timing is wrong. Tonight, the sky disagrees. The moon, at 0 degrees, Gemini says the timing is now. The space exists. The channel is open. The voice that has been waiting long enough. If this message found you at the right moment, subscribe. I track every major planetary shift, so you never have to wonder what is happening in the sky above you. Drop your zodiac sign in the comments right now. I read every single one. Choose 1 change before this day ends. 1 honest conversation, 1 boundary, 1 removal, 1 recommitment. The era of unconscious participation is closing. The era of deliberate power is opening.